At this point, Ravens, you have finished your drafts and you're ready to get started revising. We're going to start our revision work with our body paragraph. Your only goal in your body paragraph is to teach the reader, really teach the reader about your claim or topic sentence. And although your evidence is going to help do that, your explanation is doing most of the heavy lifting. So today we're going to work on revising our explanations to better teach the reader about our claim or topic sentence. We're going to start today with some notes. And I know that your composition notebooks are getting super full, especially the grammar or craft section. But I'm going to ask that you find just a little bit of room around your draft to write down these notes. Your explanation needs to do three things. In your explanation, number one, you need to explain your evidence in your own words. Oftentimes, our evidence is really heavy or hard for the reader to understand. It is your job as the writer to make sense of it for your reader. Number two, you need to include details that you learned in your research. There are a lot of facts or interesting information that you can include in your explanation to help the reader really understand your claim or topic sentence. And then lastly, you need to teach. When I say teach, I really mean explain, like make sense of your claim or topic sentence for the reader, so that by the end of the paragraph, I, as your reader, really have a strong understanding of your claim or topic sentence. So let's work through this together. So my claim or topic sentence is that Chad needs access to clean, drinkable water and better sanitation. So by the end of the paragraph, I need to teach you. I need to really explain to you both the problem with access to clean, drinkable water and sanitation and why Chad needs it. So here's my introduction to evidence and evidence. In an article published by UNICEF, a humanitarian organization working on sustainable development around the world, Guy Hubbard argues, access to safe drinking water and sanitation services in Chad is among the lowest in the world, a major factor in the country's recurrent outbreaks of diseases like diarrhea, meningitis, and cholera. So if I wasn't explaining my evidence in my own words, including details that I learned in my research, and really teaching the reader, my explanation might sound something like this. Chad doesn't have safe drinking water and good sanitation, so there are lots of outbreaks. All I am doing is using the same language that is in my evidence to restate it. I am not explaining in my own words. I'm not making sense of it. I'm certainly not including interesting facts or details that I learned in my research. And I am not explaining or teaching you why Chad needs access to clean drinking water and better sanitation. So let's abandon that explanation and let's start over. And I want to start with number one. I want to start by explaining my evidence in my own words. So there are three things that I really want to explain in my evidence. I want to explain safe drinking water and what it looks like in Chad to not have safe drinking water, what that means. I want to explain sanitation. And I want to explain these outbreaks of disease, right? So there are three things that I really want to make sense of for my reader. So I'm going to start with safe drinking water. So here are my first two sentences in my explanation. Water in Chad is often dangerous to drink, right? I'm explaining what unsafe water looks like. It's dangerous. Many communities struggle to find any source of water that's not polluted. I'm making sense of what unsafe drinking water looks like in Chad, right? It's this polluted water. So now I want to jump to sanitation. So I know that sanitation means going to the bathroom. So I want to talk a little bit about sanitation or going to the bathroom in Chad and why it's a problem. The majority of Chad also does not have a safe way to use the bathroom. I'm making sense of that word, sanitation, for my reader. So before I jump to talking about what an outbreak is, right, and why these diseases are such a problem, I have some interesting facts that I learned about sanitation or going to the bathroom in my research. So I learned, and I want to include those here because I think it's going to help really explain how sanitation and clean drinking water, how that, or dirty drinking water, how that causes these diseases. So when we go to the bathroom on the ground, the bacteria in our poop can find its way into land used for growing crops and to our water sources. The bacteria in our poop is dangerous. So, in my research, as I was reading, I learned that part of the problem, part of the reason people get diseases from dirty water and from poor sanitation is that the bacteria in our poop is actually really bad for us, and that when we don't have a safe way to use the bathroom, that oftentimes gets into our drinking water, and that's a huge problem. Not only the bacteria that's already in dirty water, but the bacteria from our poop. So included some fun tidbits of information I learned in my research. So now I'm going to come back to explaining what an outbreak is and how dirty water and poor sanitation leads to that. So drinking dirty water or eating vegetables that have been exposed to bad bacteria can make you really sick. This is why Chad has seen huge numbers of individuals affected by diseases. So, an outbreak is when there is this huge number of individuals that is suddenly affected by a disease. So, I'm explaining that in my own words for my reader. Those diseases are diarrhea, meningitis, and cholera. So, I've explained my evidence in my own words. I've included some details that I learned in my research. I want to make sure that I really teach the reader now. So one of the other things that I learned in my research, and I think is going to really help explain things for my reader, is that these diseases, if we look at diseases, sorry, we're running out of room here. If we look at diseases like cholera and diarrhea, that those diseases are all bacterial. So although these diseases are all of these diseases is what that should say. All of these diseases are caused by bad bacteria. Although they are easily treated, without access to clean water and sanitation, they will continue to spread. So I wanted to make sure that my reader understood that the diseases that Chad is suffering from, diarrhea, meningitis, and cholera, all are caused by bad bacteria, which are found in dirty drinking water and poor sanitation, when our bacteria in our poop gets into our vegetables and our drinking water, our access to water. So there is my explanation. I have taken my evidence or my explanation that I already had, and I've gone and I've made sure that I explained my evidence in my own words, that I've included details that I learned in my research, and then I've really taught the reader or explained my claim or topic sentence. I'll end with my concluding sentence. Chad needs support building sustainable systems to provide communities safe sources of water and sanitation. So I hope if you look right now, if you read through my explanation, I hope that you feel like you really have a clear understanding of the problem with clean drinking water and sanitation in Chad, and why it's so important that we address this need. I want you to go right now. I want you to read through your explanation in all 3 of your body paragraphs and see if there are any sentences that you can add. Can you better help the reader understand your evidence, or understand a part of your evidence that maybe you didn't explain very well? Are there details that you learned in your research that you could add? And then lastly, is there a part of your topic sentence that you really need to explain or teach? Okay, have fun revising.